Let's start with the only film nominated for Best Picture that I actually think deserves it, which is Three Billboards.
So, Mildred Hayes, why did you put up these billboards?
My daughter Angela was murdered 7 months ago. It seems to me the police department is too busy torturing black folks to solve actual crime.
The hell is this?
I started this movie with an eye roll. Because
really?
It's called Three Billboards, and it opens literally with a shot of three billboards. And I was like, yeah, okay. Okay,
yeah.
And then this should win Best Picture as far as I'm concerned. From what I've seen, it was a really, really good movie.
Yeah,
I would watch this movie again, which is not something I can say about almost anything that I've seen this year.
I'm sorry about Angela, but the town is dead set against these billboards.
You know who threw that can?
What can?
How about you, sweetheart?
No, I didn't really...
Go, girl.
It gets like over the top. There's huge coincidences and there's like a lot of violence. And once that happened, I was completely sold. It was like, okay, I don't have to pretend this is a gritty, realistic movie anymore. And then it the writing suddenly just I felt like almost halfway through the writer like found total confidence in what he was doing and he didn't have to try anymore and it just flowed naturally.
Yeah. I thought the dialogue stayed kind of whatever throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's scenes where you're watching Woody Harrelson, who has a really interesting character, and there's out of nowhere, he's like this nice family dad, and then out of nowhere, he's like swearing at his kids, like, "You goddamn little punks, you better make sure you just don't do those move those teddy bears. I'm gonna go screw your mom now." Like, it was like, okay, you could have done the exact same scene without the shitty dialogue. Like,
that's true.
That was my only complaint.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This reporter, for one, hopes this finally puts an end to the strange saga of the three billboards outside.
This doesn't put an end to shit, you fucking retard. This is just a fucking start.
All around, super solid movie, I thought.
Yeah, I thought I had the strongest acting and the strongest characters out of any of the movies I saw this year. Hi, Tonya. I'm bored of watching that movie.
Nothing's ever your fault. I was embarrassed for you.
My entire life, I've been told I wouldn't amount to anything. And you know what? Maybe I would.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't like I, Tonya. I thought it was a good show.
It was so disappointing that they took like what could have been an interesting story about like some criminal activity in the most boring sport available to them, but they just took it and they just made this goofball movie, and I wasn't on board with it. I wasn't okay with any decision that they made in that movie.
Even the playing field. I know a guy, shouldn't even be saying his name. Derek.
The press wanted me to be the pile of crap. I never did this.
It might not even have been the content, but it was also how it was presented.
See, that's what made me like it, was how it was presented. It was like Diet Scorsese. It was like trying to be passionate and weird and energetic.
It was trying to be funny, and it was never funny. And
no, I didn't find it that funny. No.
Everybody's costumes looked so terrible, and the face makeup looked awful on her, and in the interview parts and stuff.
It looked appropriate.
She was the best part of that movie. I thought.
Margot Robbie?
Yeah, she was the best part, and
she's very good.
America. They want someone to love, but they want someone to hate. I mean, come on.
It was either telling me a story I did not care about, or it was being so over the top that I was just getting frustrated.
Wow. Okay. Florida Project is a big, boring pile of turds.
Hey, Lee, we got a situation here. Open up. It's only second week of the summer, and there's already been a dead fish in the pool.
We're trying to get it back alive.
Water balloons thrown at tourists.
Boobies! Boobies!
I thought it was supposed to be so good.
Yep, it's got rave reviews. Everyone loved it. I wanted to jump in front of traffic the whole time. When your only likable character is Willem Dafoe, you're in fucking trouble.
You don't think everybody knows what's up here, Lee? Everybody.
She's about to cry. I can always tell when adults are about to cry.
It was like 2 hours of very dumb, loud, obnoxious, redneck assholes yelling at each other for 2 hours. And so it's trying to do this cinema verite thing, and it's a slice of life. This is what life is like. It's okay. I get that.
Good idea.
No, and I get that in 20 minutes. Like, okay, all these people are living in a motel beside Disney World, and they're all impoverished, and they're all redneck dummies. I'm sorry. Hashtag slander. I don't give a fuck. That was the movie. So it's okay. In 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, I get it. Even in a happy place, the shadow of it contains sad poor people. What else do you got, movie? Nothing. That was it for 2 hours. There's literally 15 scenes of the kid playing in a tub, listening to rap music loudly. I want to bring it up too because we saw a movie at Calgary Film Fest called Gregoire.
Gregoire.
Was it?
It doesn't matter.
It's great. I think. Oh, fuck. Whatever. Okay.
It's whatever I want it to be. Fort Mac the movie.
Fort Mac the movie. Please. What is his name? Cody Brown? Cody Brown, I think was the director's name. Your next movie should just be Fort Mac the movie. Something that we can all freaking say, us dummies down here in Calgary, because goddammit, your title's a nightmare.
Because you are inside generation, you know? Like, you live indoors, I swear. A fellow that I work with, he went to put his kids in a little league, and they didn't even have enough kids to fill one single team.
Even the characters you didn't wind up liking, you felt interest or sympathy towards. You
didn't
want to see
what
what
job
happened.
of a director and a screenwriter is to pick out the moments.
Mm-hmm.
And without those moments, you can make.
Yeah.
But this is what life is really like. But if you can't pick out the correct moments to show people, to make a story out of it, then that doesn't matter. You can write the most. You can write the most accurate to life movie of a guy making a sandwich. But you're not picking the right moments, so it doesn't matter to anybody.
Exactly.
You have to get some people on board.
No, that's perfectly said, because you can have a movie without a plot, but there still needs to be a story.
Yeah.
And something like Gregoire did not have a plot, but I would watch Gregoire 2, if I'm saying it right. Fucking Fort Mac the movie 2, I would watch that shit, because I want to know what happens to the characters after. I'm still interested in what happened.
Hey, when I was your age, we'd go out and fucking go egg houses, you know? For fun. We just fucking meet up, walk around.
For everyone that is raving about Florida Project, just try and see Gregoire instead. It was the same thing, only 20 times better.
Let's go, come on.
There was 2 this year that I thought actually nailed the strong female roles. It was Lady Bird and Molly's Game.
Does Mom hate me?
If you're tired, we can sit down.
I'm not tired.
You were dragging your feet.
You are so infuriating.
Please stop yelling.
I'm not yelling. Oh, it's perfect.
Do you love it?
You both have such strong personalities.
Lady Bird surprised me because we skipped that at SIF because the trailer looked like pretentious hipster bullshit.
Was that at SIF?
Yeah.
I don't even remember it.
It was the really, really hipstery one with the teenage girl, and I think the trailer was just scored by the Pixies. It was the worst. But give the movie its credit. It plays up those hipster pretensions and makes fun of them. A guy in the grocery store that she likes is like, "Oh, you look just like Jim Morrison from The Doors," and I'm going, "Oh, no kids talk about Jim Morrison. This is bullshit. None of them know." And then she's like, "Yeah, I know." And as soon as he walks away, she goes to her mom. She's like, "Okay, who's Jim Morrison?" And I'm like, "Okay, all right, good."
This is the best version.
It's worth checking out. Molly's Game, best female character of the year.
We spent 8 years running the world's most exclusive, glamorous, and decadent man cave.
In the office?
Guarantee the publishers certain elements, and I can get you $1.5 million.
What kind of elements? I passed.
I'm just curious as to why you passed on what would appear to be the only way out you have.
You have to use real names.
Creative differences.
And it's like last year with Arrival, like you were always saying. If you just write a strong character, it doesn't matter what
it shouldn't matter.
It shouldn't matter. Exactly. And this one, it's like, I don't care if it was a girl, a dude, old, young, whatever color, creed, whatever. It was just an interesting character in an interesting movie.
See, and really I don't know how they haven't figured that one out yet. It's like, just take a script, delete the names, or just give them all gender-neutral names.
And if it's still interesting,
and then just
Yeah.
Just audition a bunch of people, men and women, and then you got it.
Yeah. Really solid movie, Molly's Game. I'd suggest everyone check that sucker out.
Tell me why!
Because it's all I have left. Because it's my name.
So one that I'm still undecided about, but I'm more on the side of I enjoyed it because I got all the way through it.
Sure.
Was the Jim and Andy documentary on Netflix.
Oh, fuck that movie.
Andy felt it was necessary to stay in the character.
He's exactly the way Andy was.
It's totally surreal. And this crazy melodrama started happening all over the place.
I got into like this conspiracy theory mode where I was like, Jim Carrey's pulling a I'm Not Here movie, and he's like, you think he's just pretending to be an artist, and because it was so
douchey.
It was so douchey that I was like, can't be real. He's making all this up, but then they cut it with all these clips that were clearly filmed when he filmed Man on the Moon.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, but that would have been that's a very big setup for a joke. So I guess it's not. So I think I'm falling on the side of that he's just a big douche, but I'm interested by it.
That's fair, I guess. And it's funny because I guess the backstory is I love Man on the Moon. I think that's his best
really
performance.
like
and
that
you
movie.
hate, you don't like that movie. You don't like what's his name? Andy Kaufman? Did you just have a heart attack from thinking about Andy Kaufman? I was excited to watch it because I really like Man on the Moon. All of the behind the stuff in Man on the Moon, it's typical method actor not getting out of character and being a douche.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the thing is, like with I'm Not Here, whatever that was the case, the Walking
that
Phoenix
one was
right?
made up, right?
Right. But it would have those scenes where he's being a douche and then the camera would linger on the people around him and being like Ben Stiller in that scene going, is this done? Is it? And the people around him would make fun of him and say like, you're being an asshole.
Yeah.
This movie only shows shots of Jim Carrey being an asshole and then Jim Carrey talking 20 years later about how brilliant he was for being an asshole. There's no objectivity to it at all. It's all biased, pretentious bullshit.
That's not totally true,
Idiot.
and he does delve into himself going too far, which I'm not going to defend him at all because he does obviously love himself for it a little bit.
Boy,
But-
yeah.
Jimmy said they came down hard. Who's they? Universal didn't want the footage we took behind the scenes to surface so that people wouldn't think I was an asshole.
He does at least question himself sometimes, which I found kind of interesting.
Okay, well I only got
That's
halfway through,
That's why I'm
so-
kind of on the fence about this movie, is because I did like when he would kind of talk about himself like, I'm a weirdo. Like I'm a weird guy for doing that.
Yeah, but
like,
he was proud of it.
And
there was no one talking
I think he was
against
proud
it.
and confused.
There was no one to show the other
I know
side.
you bring up a good point. Like all the clips they show from this behind the scenes stuff, they only show him being a jerk to
super-
people, and people just going, "Oh,
Oh,
when is
Jim."
this gonna stop?"
Yeah.
Like, but they don't show anybody. The only guy that kind of freaked out was the wrestler guy.
And that stuff like I found interesting in the movie when Andy Kaufman did it.
Yeah.
And I found it interesting when Jim Carrey was doing it. Like I think method
And see,
acting is
and-
effed up,
and-
but it's the fact that 20 years later you have this chance to look back on your actions for what was not a There Will Be Blood. It's not like Daniel Day-Lewis going, "Oh, I won 17 Oscars for this brilliant masterpiece."
Yeah.
No one remembers this film. He got fucking nothing out of it. And he's still talking himself up like he's the king of the universe for it.
When the movie was over, I couldn't remember who I was anymore. So you step through the door not knowing what's on the other side. What's on the other side is everything.
I'll probably
to
never
decide
see
on.
it again, but I enjoyed watching
Okay.
it. This is just a random
Fair enough.
one I saw.
Fair enough.
I know him as well as I can know him. But who do you know? Even when they're right in front of you.
Guess we'll quickly talk about your favorite film of the year, which we already discussed in a previous
We
video.
discussed this before, but a day.
A day. Check it out.
Super cool take on the whole Groundhog Day kind of idea.
It's an awesome movie.
Repeating time loops.
It's great. No, just see our Calgary Film Fest.
See that review. We go way more in depth about it, and
in this link
if you
here.
can find that movie somehow, give her a watch because you'll have fun, guaranteed.
Oh, it's a fantastic film.
바꿀 수 있는 건 다 바꿔볼 거야. 그럼 하루가 바뀔지도 몰라.
I saw the best animated film of the year.
Yes.
Possibly of many years. I was a huge fan. It was called Beauty and the Beast. Had like really great.
I get your joke now. I was wondering where you're going with it.
Yeah, I made a
now
joke.
I don't care.
Oh. Let's talk about one of the few that both of us actually saw.
Yep.
Brigsby Bear.
Brigsby Bear.
The reason you're here, the reason I'm here, is all just to help you.
Everyone says they're trying to help me, but nobody can find me the new episode of Brigsby.
There wasn't a new episode this week. This is about moving on with the rest of your life.
Brigsby Bear is this underrated little gem of a film.
They did a good job because there's one joke pretty much the whole movie. It's just one joke, and they just keep pushing it.
Yeah.
And you just laugh every time. You're just like, and the more they do it, you're just like, yeah, that's funny, and that's funnier. And at the beginning, there's some parts, and you're like, I don't get what's going on, because there's a part, because before you know what's really going on, and you just think it's a weird movie, and he's like talking to his dad, and there's like little like fireflies on sticks outside, and like this weird like little fox creature.
Yep.
And they just act like it's totally normal, and then you later find out he was abducted, and they just like put on a show for him.
And they
and
just
his adopted dad creates this whole world, and this bear character, and then the kid is obsessed with it, and has all these theories, and then he's making a movie about it, and it's hilarious, and it's kind of sweet.
Have you ever been with a girl?
And you really want to do this with me?
Yeah, man. I mean, there's not a lot of stuff like this out there.
It's one of those rare times where a movie can make you laugh, but it's also emotionally involving. Especially for anyone that is a filmmaker or wants to make films, I think it nails the ideal of filmmaking so much that it shows all of the sweet, fun, idealistic, hopeful aspect of it, while eliminating all the stress and bullshit and the shit that just makes you angry and frustrated and disappointed. But it's just like, it creates something that could have been dark and weird and makes it funny and adorable, and fucking Captain Mayne's in it.
Hi, everybody. You know, tooth decay and gingivitis can be a crime. That's why I use Mighty Whitey toothpaste.
I loved it. It's my second favorite film of the year. It was great.
It's a surprising one to have in our tops of the year. It's just it was an enjoyable to see.
You're my friend.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
So I guess let's talk about my number one favorite film of the year, possibly of the last couple years, Ghost Story. So this is another one I forced you to watch.
Yep.
Unfortunately, I don't think you liked it as much as Brigsby.
I didn't, but it was another one of those ones where I was like, I get how it could appeal to certain people.
Sure.
But we had a big talk after it was done. I was just hoping it was going somewhere different.
Yeah.
You loved exactly where it went, and that was mostly just where we split off.
All the awful dreams felt real at night. Did you know that she waking up? Did she die in the night? Leave you alone.
It is a film of two halves. And the first half is what you expect, albeit not played as you expect, because it's incredibly slow moving, and it shows really the passage of time.
It's almost a silent movie for the most part. For like 90% of it, it's a silent movie.
No, there's barely any dialogue. It's just you expect it to be about basically a love story.
Yeah.
Where
which we can say where I veered off. I wish it had stayed.
It's a husband and wife. Husband dies. He's now a ghost. He's stalking her, and you were into it. And that was the part I thought would lose you because it's so slow moving. But and again, I don't want to ruin it, but that is half the movie.
Yeah,
and then
it takes
after
a big
that,
turn.
because it's not called a love story between a ghost and a girl, and you realize suddenly that it's taking that title quite literally. It is a story about this ghost, and ghosts. That's what they're famous for. They stay in one place for a long time.
For a long time.
Find someone else, leave me alone.
places I didn't expect, and again, like some of the places were annoying, like the pie eating scene. That's annoying.
Pie eating scene and that ranty
the douchebag ranty guy that literally spells out every theme in the film in a 7-minute monologue.
Yep.
The movie risked frustrating you at times, but unlike something like Mother, which risked frustrating you for an hour and a half, this one was like, no, we're gonna have these quick moments, and the rest of it, we're gonna do what we want, which is Casey Affleck in a freaking sheet with holes cut out, wandering through time for an hour. It's one of those things. I found it incredibly moving. I thought, like, especially when he starts communicating with other ghosts and you realize connection and stuff. Again, I don't want to spoil that shit, but it's just one of those films where even the things that frustrated me were a lot. Even like the 4:3 ratio frustrated me, but I still think it all worked into a really brilliant film.
And that was a good point to bring up like that. Like there was decisions like that annoy me about these artistic films, which are totally fine to make. But even in an artistic film where you want to push boundaries, you need to have a reason.
Yes.
They cannot sell me on that 4:3 shit no matter how many BS answers they give me. There is no reason.
I disagree.
They can tell me all the reasons they want, but they could have made the same movie now, 4:3.
We build our legacy piece by piece, and maybe the whole world will remember you, or maybe just a couple of people, but you do what you can to make sure you're still around after you're gone.
It's small things like that that are annoyances, where you just roll your eyes and you're like, one of those movies again. And that being said, I didn't not like I hated it.
Good.
I just didn't appreciate what they went for.
Sure.
It was a squandered story.
Yeah.
They just missed it. They
just
missed it for me.
Fucking nailed it.
They missed it for me, and that's fine. Movies are like that.
Oh shit! We didn't talk about monster trucks.
I like that.
Oh, cool. That'll be the end.